Hey guys. All right, we have another futures trade review of my second hour futures trading. And towards the end of this review, I'm going to announce some new ideas, some new changes. I'm going to switch it up for the first time in like 10 months. Um, but we'll get started with the review first. As you guys know, I trade futures the second hour of each day. And second hour's been terrible for the most part. Pretty much every day besides like two over the last 10 trading days has been pretty crappy to trade. And you can just kind of see it on your chart where I ended up trading. It was during this. So that was really fun today. Did end up being a red day. But I'm going to continue kind of toughing out the second hour. But I'm going to start making some changes here. And I'm going to announce it towards the end. But let's go through these trades real quick. Trades weren't bad. The thing is with today is my psychology is pretty much drastically deteriorated over the week. I can't remember the last time my psychology was this deteriorating. It's pretty much just 2 weeks in a row of crappy futures trading. Um, Not crappy as in, I'm not doing my job or my analysis is bad or the trades are bad. None of that. It's more of just kind of frustration that, the first hour of trading, like today's first hour was the first day that the first hour of trading wasn't actually great. I was still green on the day though. I only had 2 losses and I think 3 or 4 wins or something. So it was a green day. Um, but it's really started to get frustrating that I don't stream my options trading live because I'm already alerting it and I can't do everything at once. It's the futures trading that I do live, and of course I do that live the second hour of market open because that's a time that works for me, and I've been doing it that way for essentially 10 months, and over the last 10 months it's been pretty good. So I'm not gonna change what I do if the last 10 minutes has been good for just 2 weeks of hardship. It doesn't make sense, but it still freaking sucks to go through. And it's just pretty annoying that it's the one thing I do stream of me doing live, and I consistently get absolutely nothing from the market. So I can't say my mood was great today. Yesterday, I ended up was very, very light red in the beginning, and then came back for FOMC and ended up being a green day. The day before that, I was small green. Oh, actually, I was really big green that day, but I cheated because I traded the morning. I did already review that. The day before that, I was very slight red. The day before, that was very slight green. It's been slight red, slight green, slight red, slight green, which definitely wears down my patience. And frankly, the last 2 weeks, I have never grown a futures account slower than I am right now, and it is painful. Some of you guys are used to it. I am not, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to continue to be patient while I'm doing this, especially when, like I said, it's the one thing I stream live. And of course, I would like price action to put on a good show for us while I'm live, but that just really hasn't been happening. But all right, so we pretty much started right here. Now we'll backtrack a little bit. A couple days ago, we hit all-time highs on ES, as you guys know. And a lot of you guys don't know where to put your speculative price targets. I don't remember where I set mine actually. I want to say it was maybe here. I completely forgot where I put mine. I deleted it now because my next price target is all the way up at 61.20 something, which is way too far away. Um, was it here? No, that's a little bit too far away. Let me try here. Yeah, we'll find this real quick. If anything, I'll just cheat and look at where I put it earlier in the thing. 61, 21. Nope. Let me look in the TA alerts real quick because I drew a really nice one earlier and I forgot where I put the thing. Oh, did I really put it there? One moment. Yeah, it was from the daily chart. Let's just zoom this in all the way. And it was from that high of around April of 2023, it looks like. No, April of 2024. Okay. Oh, there she is. All right, this was the fib extension I rolled with. Again, with fib charts, you can all have different charts and they can all work out. The biggest thing is you just want the most confluence, right? You look at what price action has done and has how has price action already interacted with these levels. The better the interaction is, the more confluence it has, the more likely it is to continue showing confluence, right? So let's look. Rejected here, good. Bounced here, good. This daily candle may be a little bit hard to see, but it did reject here perfectly. Good. Bounce, good. Bounce, good. Rejection, good. Small bounce here, good. Bounce here, good. Eh. That's pretty good over the last few months. So I rolled with this level. This was the most confluence I saw. And a couple days ago, I sent out the price target. Okay, well, we're at all-time highs. There's no more pivots. There's no more supply. So fib extensions can play the part in filling that gap of where do I put my PTs. Well, 60.21 is the PT that I announced. I'm bullish for it to get there. But keep in mind, this isn't a pivot. It's not a major supply. It's not a historically proven liquidity level or resistance. It's speculative. So you take it with a massive grain of salt, right? It's not the same as a pivot. But anyways, now I got to go all the way back. So that's why I was bullish to today. And by the time the second hour started trading, we were closing in on it. Here's the problem, though. My average trade on ES is anywhere from 17 to 20 ticks is my average green trade, and right around 15 to 17, maybe 18 ticks is my average green trade. So usually a 1.2, 1.3 risk to reward is kind of my sweet spot. Lately it's been a little bit higher, but that's kind of where my sweet spot's been. Well, we kind of have a problem today. ES and NQ are doing opposite things. NQ's been chopping down. However, chopping down is typically bullish. You can kind of see it here. And ES has been kind of chopping up. Well, that's fairly conflicting. And you know what? NQ has a pretty bearish PT. I'm bearish for it to get to this PT of 21,156. This was a major pivot. It did miss it. It's not a huge deal. But we also have a nice trend line here. So we're chopping downwards on the smaller time frame, but this chopping down is really steep. I mean, usually chopping down is bullish, but we invalidated this entire run in the process. So how bullish is it really? I'm not sure. And also here, it kind of looks like we're chopping up. So lots of conflicting analysis. NQ is doing absolutely nothing today. And frankly, I wasn't feeling too good about this day psychologically. It wasn't a very good day. As you guys know, I came in a voice and I said, I am trading light. Hope you guys trade light because not only do I have zero confidence in the NASDAQ right now, but that's pretty much it. I had no confidence in the NASDAQ. On top of that, I had a super, super important appointment in the middle of the day today. So I had to trade the second hour. I usually don't have to. I do anyways. But I couldn't stay longer if I wanted to. Right? I had to 8:30 to 9:30 Arizona time is what I had to deal with. So I felt forced to do something that I really didn't want to do. And frankly, if I were to go back in time, I think that was kind of just the mistake I made. I should have just took one trade and left because I wasn't feeling it at all today. And I started out with 3 losses today, and unfortunately, none of those losses surprised me. Now, each of those trades were fine. They were not bad trades. One of them was eh. Uh, but each of those trades I was properly confirmed in. It's just given the price action of NQ, it's just too much conflicting analysis. With ES, it's hard for me to go long on ES because it just now swept high of day. And I'm leaning NQ's chopping downwards, but I'm still kind of leaning bearish for NQ to get to here. Well, if that happens, ES is clearly going to pull back. We have a perfect triple bottom here on ES, which would serve as a beautiful PT. Conflicting analysis. I can't really go into NQ short because I'm bullish for ES to get to 60.21, but I can't really go into NQ or ES long because, well, not only has NQ given me nothing, it's just now starting to flip strong, by the way, which is different. But the PT's pretty close. And if I were to get confirmed in with like a green candle like that, well, now I can't take the trade. because now my average green trade is this green trade is much smaller than my average red trade. I don't take trades like that, right? I try to keep my green trades at the minimum the same size as my average red trade, right? So I couldn't really take advantage of it. But now NQ started flipping strong, so I did propose along. I'm like, okay, well, I'm bullish for ES to get a 60-21. It looks like NQ is flipping strong. If it does clear this red candle completely, it wouldn't be a bad trade to this high. But look at the ticks. It seems like that new high of day is far away. It really does. It genuinely seems like new high of day is far away. But look at the ticks. This is below my average green trade. This is a very small trade, 68 ticks. I'm only doing half size lately, so 5 micros. Um, that's a small trade, right? So I was pretty tempted to enter early. I didn't end up alerting a trade because it got a selling wick, but NQ flipped back to being weak, and NQ longs are looking okay. But now I'm thinking, okay, well, why does NQ seem like it's so far away? It's not. Like 90 ticks over the last few days or just most of this week. That's nothing. That's, you know, 6 candles in the right direction. But today, that's like half of all the volatility that the Nasdaq has got. So this PT seems extremely far away. It just doesn't seem likely. Plus, ES's PT is so close. I can't drag it over there. ES's PT is so close, and I'm really bullish for this PT to hit, but once it hits, I got nothing. My next PT is forever away. It's not even worth charting. It's all the way up here. So like, is NQ really gonna go all the way up here? Which would mean, is ES really gonna run all the way up here for the 3rd day in a row? Really? I don't really think so. So I didn't call anything there. Now we started dropping, and I did like shorts. I did like shorts, but at the same time, we just rejected a trend line, and now this is a 3-point touch trend line. No, it's not a perfect trend line, but it is a 3-point touch trend line, and I'm like, man, but it's kind of looking like a inverse head and shoulders, and NQ is a lot weaker than ES, but ES doesn't really look like it wants to drop. It might be putting in a tiny little rising wedge here, or like a little ascending channel, but ES just doesn't seem like it wants to drop. I'm not confident that ES is going to drop enough to let NQ drop all the way to here. I'm going to need more of the move to invalidate, right? Um, and again, with the potential inverse head and shoulders happening, I don't know if it's going to go right back up. I couldn't pull the trigger here. I was really thinking about entering a short trade here, but it ended up getting a buying wick, and ES just getting a bull hammer doesn't look like it's actually going to drop. Again, was getting ready to fill on the trade, but I waited for the candle to close, and it got a buying wick. A lower low with a buying wick here. And ES again does not look like the dang thing wants to drop. So I'm like, all right, if the next candle opens and begins invalidating this buying wick, I'm willing to take a trade. This is an okay trade. This is a good trade. I'm fine with this trade. The stop loss I'm setting up, pretty good risk to reward. I'd say above average risk to reward. But it does that. Now, I will say, guys, that massive buying wick that you saw literally happened when there were 3 seconds left in the candle. I am not joking you. Now, the big thing, as the candle opened, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to let the candles close. I usually don't take a trade until the last 10 seconds because I like controlled variables, right? It's less thinking that I have to do, so less psychological deterioration. Even though, frankly, my psych is already deteriorated, I don't want to be here today. Just look what I'm dealing with NQ. But I did say, at the bare minimum, I do really want to enter above this blue line, above this pivot, so the trade has a little bit of breathing room. Sure enough, the last 10 seconds hit, and by second 8, when there's 8 seconds left, I fill the freaking trade, like down here. I'm like, well, it is what it is, right? So I fill the trade down here. I think I actually filled it a little bit higher. Yeah, I did fill it a little bit. No, I didn't. NQ short at 2:11:21. All right, is my notes wrong today? That's not the right price. Yeah, that is not the right price. to 1120. What? Okay, well, I didn't write the right price in those notes at all. Anyways, I filled right around here. And I'm like, well, shit. Sorry, I'm still sick. I guess the sound suppression mutes my coughing. So if I randomly pause, it's me coughing. Um, so now this trade looks terrible. 3 seconds in, it swept the low, got the world's biggest buying wick. ES looks like it wants to go to 60.21. I'm like, well, that's a wrap. Was confirmed in. Candle looked great. It did come back down. I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's some hope. This looks okay again. And there's just still conflicting analysis, you know? I'm bullish for this trend line to break up here, but I'm also bearish for the next nearest point of liquidity as we invalidated most of the drop. Under a normal volatile day with good volume, we'd have no issue dropping to this low, especially because we've already tested this area and now we're coming right back down. The more times you test a resistance, the weaker it gets on average, right? So the trade looked decent, you know. Looking back, one thing I could have done is I probably could have moved my stop a little bit closer because, frankly, if it invalidated that big red candle, it would have gone to my initial stop. I didn't do that, though, unfortunately, so I did take the full-size loss. I don't remember where I filled, but whatever. Was looking decent. Plus, ES swept high of day, gave evidence of a bearish liquidity sweep. However, we did not get a major volume spike indicating a reversal on ES, so I wasn't that confident in it. But it looked like it was an okay trade. And then this damn candle happens. And I'm like, yep. Can't say it wasn't expected, right? I did give everyone the fair warning. And by this point, I'm like, why am I even here right now? So. And then this candle happens. I'm like, you know what? Why did I not just stop out of this trade yet? That was the most bullish candle ever. And NQ just invalidated the damn thing. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. There's a lot of buyers stepping in right now, but there's a lot of short stepping in right now, which means we're going to short squeeze or we're going to stop loss raid, one of the two. Here's the problem. ES didn't get half the red candle NQ did, and I'm thinking, well, shit, I would love to be confident in the trades I enter, like I really would. And it's depressing when I don't, but I can't because ES didn't even validate half this green candle. ES could not be more clear to me saying, hey, I want to get to this level. Problem is now I'm stuck in this freaking trade, so I can't trade the dang thing. And even if I wanted to trade it, it's really close to my PT. Like, it's just really close. I could. 13 isn't, I guess 14 isn't too small, but it's less than my average red trade as of lately, so I'd rather not. And we get down again. ES looks like bullish consolidation. NQ's looking like a little bear pennant. And I'm like, this thing is going to squeeze or it's going to stop loss raid. And me being my pessimist self today, it was looking like it's more likely to squeeze to the upside because the lows of these candles, these small buying wicks down here were making lower lows. We had a lot of them. Here, and here was even a lower low. So I'm thinking this is probably going to pop up. But my hypothesis isn't invalidated, so it's not like I'm going to stop early. Sure enough, it did end up happening. But look how weak NQ is. Like, what am I going to do? Because if NQ comes all the way back up, I'm triggered into longs. I really am triggered into longs. But by the time it does that, ES is going to be all the way at this high. So ES is going to be a speculative resistance, which doesn't mean too much. The only way I'd really hop into NQ longs, well, I'd have to stop out of this trade first, but the way I'd hop into NQ longs is if it flipped strong around the time of entry, and I can hypothesize that, you know what, NQ does want to go to high a day, and it's likely that ES isn't going to stay strong forever. It's going to flip weak, and NQ is going to catch up. That's not an uncommon thing to see. So anyways, I stop out here, and I'm kind of thinking I may have to re-enter. By the way, that was the first trade. It was a solid 10 minutes. It wasn't too long, actually. It was fine. But, it's kind of looking like an inverse head and shoulders now. But ES just got a shooting star. But what do you know? NQ's flipping strong. Look at the green candle. Look at the red candle. And we invalidate this buying or selling wick. And again, it's getting a bigger green candle than ES is. And again, now this is a potential reversal candle. But notice how it broke. It made a higher high at least. Now, keep in mind, this candle is not a bullish candle. However, we're again testing this trend line. The more times you test a resistance like a trend line, the more likely it is to break. But conflicting analysis because I still have this 2156 pivot down here that I'm bearish to break at some point. And I actually have a perfect trend line down here. A perfect 3-point touch trend line is what it came out to be. And I'll draw it actually perfect here so you guys can see. There you go. Beautiful. So it's a tough decision. I'm 50-50. I'm like one red candle away from entering back into short down here. And I'm one green candle away from entering into longs. I can't go to this high because it's too close. The bare minimum PT would be supply, which again, none of these PTs are unreasonable. Just NQ is wound so tightly right now. You know, this entire range is only 35 points, which is really not a lot. Considering my average trade is, I mean, that entire range is about 120 ticks, 130 ticks. My average trade is 90 to 100. That means I would need to catch 70% of the move of the entire range that is happening right now. If I were to have a green trade, I would need to catch 70% of the entire move, which, as you guys know, is very unlikely that you're going to catch the entire thing. Anyways, we started getting a green candle, and I'm thinking longs. I really am thinking longs. We get another green candle. I'm still having a hard time pulling the trigger because I have a feeling, dude, I just don't trust this shit. I just don't trust it, you know? But I let the next candle happen, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm able to get in below this pivot, and it's at least solid breakout candle, it's a solid green candle, maybe it's got increasing volume, and most of the candles outside of this trend line, I'll give it a shot because I'm confirmed in. And notice how, compare this candle on NQ with this candle on ES. And yes, ES has been stronger, but not gonna lie, there's a little bit of hope in me saying, okay, when is NQ gonna finally flip stronger than ES? It's so hard for me to go long on ES when it's been at high of day and all-time highs all day, when NQ's been making lower lows and chopping downwards. There's gonna be some point that NQ actually flips strong. Spoiler alert, it didn't happen until way later in the day near market close. I really could have entered here. I could have. And I probably should have looking back on it. You know, it wasn't a confirmed breakout candle, but frankly, I was just too hesitant, you know? But looking back on it, if I were willing to pull the trigger, like if I wanted to trade, this is a good enough entry candle to get me in. So this candle happened, and you guys can take a guess. It's pretty easy to guess. The selling wick happened in the last second of the candle. I am not even joking. Twice, 2 trades in a row. I waited for the entire candle to develop, and the entire time, hand on the Bible, it was a solid green candle with a buying wick with increasing volume. The entire time, the second I entered this one, the second flipped immediately, got massive selling wick. I'm like, you got to be shitting me. It still had okay chances of at least sweeping this high because it was so close to that major pivot. So it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But it's just a waste of an average, you know? So there's nothing I can do about it. It's unlucky. But the freaking PT's at high of day. I cannot take a trade this small. That trade is significantly smaller than my average red trade by about 30-40%. So I'm kind of stuck taking a trade that I don't, like I'm triggered into and it could happen, and I am bullish for it to get to high day eventually, but I also have conflicting bias that I'm bearish for it to drop, you know? And with the way this candle closed, man, it just wasn't looking too good. So anyways, put my PT down. I put my stop loss down here where most of the move is invalidate, and immediately the trade looked like crap. There it is. Got a little buying wick. Had a small chance of coming back, and that chance was pretty much crushed on this candle. I'm like, well, there goes that. And as you guys can guess, short time. Now, I did not want to enter shorts. I did not want to enter. Like, I really just did not want to enter shorts. But I'm confirmed in. And it's like, keep in mind, it's pretty rare that price action does what we're watching right now. So, I'm a probabilities trader. I always bet on the outcome that, according to my analysis and my statistics that is documented in my journal and in my back testing, I will always be in that trade if it has a statistical reliability of being more likely to happen, the outcome that I want more likely to happen. That means every single time a low probability outcome happened, I'm going to lose money every time. And you're going to have days or more specifically, not necessarily days, but you're gonna have times of trading, such as the freaking second hour of trading, where you're just getting unlikely outcomes. It's really unlikely that we keep missing pivots and we keep compressing in this range. The reason why it's happening is because volume is completely drying up. But I could not pull the trigger on this candle because this is the candle that stopped me out. I'm not going to stop out of my trade, then immediately reverse into another trade. Right? That's too risky for my psychology. If I stop out of 2 trades in 2 minutes, that's going to damage my psychology, and then I'm going to be in revenge trade mode, as most of you guys know. So I waited. It got another. It got almost a red candle, and then I got a bull hammer. And here I am again, stuck buying on the low. I wanted to enter short, and I told you it's this trade all over again. Except this candle was just green. It's going to wait for the buying wick to invalidate. Once it starts invalidating and the candle gets close to closing, I enter short with my PT here. Well, of course, right before I enter, the last time I entered and put in a big buying wick right away, well, this time, right before I entered, it dropped a ton, and it ended up filling me lower than I wanted, like right here. So now I'm buying when it's making a lower low, which doesn't really matter. It matters because I hate making less money, but it doesn't actually matter because that's not going to change whether the trade's going to hit PT or not. And I'm confirmed in. I mean, it's a break to the downside, but the problem is I still have conflicting analysis. Double fake prophecy, right? If we fake one way, it's sometimes likely you'll fake the other way, then go the original way. But there's not much I can do because of the sheer lack of trade setups I have. Like, I have to get in this trade, and you can imagine that I'm not very happy to do so, right? Again, biggest mistake I did today is I should have just listened to how I was feeling. It just didn't trade. I just was kind of going through the motions today. I knew things were going to happen. I knew I was going to get triggered into good trades that probably weren't going to work out. Is what it is. Anyways, I'm triggered into this trade. I don't like buying on a lower low. It is what it is. Sure enough, we get a reversal signal, and I am stopped out. I'm like, well, giving it one more shot, folks. I'm giving it one more shot. And again, technically triggered into longs right here, invalidated a majority of the move. Except this long trade is more likely than that short trade, believe it or not. Even though this PT was great, everything was great, we had a couple things going for this one. First, double fake prophecy, right? I work in probabilities. I count up the reasons mentally, not with my fingers or anything, but I look at the chart. How many reasons analytically is this likely to go up, and how many reasons is it likely to go down? I count them up. Well, we have double fake prophecy. That's one reason for it to go up. We have a bullish liquidity sweep, so lower lows. That's another reason for it to go up. We've now invalidated a majority of this drop, and price action has a tendency of chasing liquidity when that happens. That's another reason it should go up. So right out the gate, there's 3 reasons why it should go up, and the reason it should go down, really all I got is it's not even in a downtrend. I can't even say it's in a downtrend. Really all I got is made higher lows. It swept buy side liquidity, but didn't sweep the ultimate liquidity, which isn't even a reason for it to go down. That's just a reason for me not to trust it. That reason just questions the validity of this bounce. So I'm triggered into this trade, and another reason I'm triggered in, which is a fairly minor one, but this didn't sweep higher highs here. This one did, which lowers the odds a little bit, but this one didn't. So this sell side liquidity is still intact. The market's probably going to chase it. But as you guys know, my confidence levels are shot. I know it's still a good trade setup. I just don't feel like taking it because I just don't trust the market. So I wait, and it's looking like I may re-enter shorts, but I didn't. And we get another sketchy candle, and we get this candle here. Now, yes, ES is stronger. NQ at the time of entry, for some reason, keeps giving me the illusion that it's stronger. This green candle is bigger, so were these two, but ES was dropping a lot less. You can see it didn't get a red candle, but again, it's just hard for me to go long. I got no PTs. I got no PTs up here, and this trade, without strength and weakness analysis, is put together enough for me to just take it on NQ. Sure, I could have taken it on ES, and it's technically the stronger thing by trend, but like, how long is that going to continue? It doesn't have any bullish liquidity sweeps or anything. It's not making any lower lows or anything. I don't know. So you can take it, but I end up filling here. And again, not in very good mood. And keep in mind, it's a small trade. Again, I think I filled a little bit lower. Um, but again, this trade is smaller than my average loss today. Keep that in mind. So this trade is smaller than my average loss. Um, I was tempted to take it all the way to supply, which isn't unlikely to get there at all. I mean, really, what are the chances that it just sweeps this and goes down without hitting supply? It's not super likely, but I can see it happening too easy given the price action that I'm getting. So I'm like, I don't want to because this trade is smaller than the losses I just took. But it's a good enough trade where I have to take it, and I was kind of planning on it being my last trade. So I end up entering. It doesn't look good at the start, but then it starts looking really good. Look how strong NQ is. And then NQ starts consolidating. Fine. And I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to be confident because I'm not confident. But we did have an inverse head and shoulders forming. So I'm like, it wouldn't be bad if it pulls back. Sure enough, it starts pulling back and NQ starts flipping pretty weak. Look at ES at this high and look at NQ chopping down. But regardless, this is still a bull flag on NQ. Looks good to break to the upside until it doesn't. And I'm like, okay, well, it did close with a buying wick, so that's fairly bullish. Never mind. It did not. And now this is really stressful because NQ is pulled back all the way to break even and ES isn't even budging. What's going to happen if ES decides to pull back? If NQ is pulling back with ES going sideways, I can only imagine what NQ is going to do when ES actually pulls back. So that was concerning. And I'm jumping through it pretty fast, but we're sitting in this trade for a while. Anyways, by here it looked fantastic. Looked like it was going to hit PT. I ended up invalidating that drop, which was needed, and held this bullish consolidation. And the bullish consolidation did end up playing out. So I finished on a good note today. And, it did end up getting to supply. I was still bullish for it to get to the high. But one of the things I said kind of at the beginning of the live was because price action, especially on NQ, was clearly chopping. I said price action is probably going to start being good today around the third hour of trading. And one of my frustrations today that deteriorated my psychology is knowing that I can't even stick around if I wanted to. So I felt that urge or felt that push, that shove to get out, all my trades during that second hour. But keep in mind, all those trades were like fairly valid. There wasn't anything wrong with the trades. Just right after I got in half of them, it put in an ugly wick. And this one, I just got an unfortunate fill. But it doesn't even really matter about my fill on this one because it didn't get to PT anyways. It was destined to stop out. So I end up finishing today red, 4,500, which is about 2 green trades. Not terrible, right? Not terrible. I was down today by 2 red trades, right? 3 red, 1 green. So 2 red. Make it back up by 2 green trades. That's fine. But yeah, my patience is just wearing thin over these last 2 weeks. The second hour's been trash. And lately, my best trades this week have come during the third hour where I actually decided to change up and stay longer. But I did tell you guys, I'm still bullish for NQ to hit high of day. I'm also bearish for this to break next time it's down here. I don't know if it's going to come back down there, but if it does come down there, it'll be a decent trade. But for now, obviously, I'm bullish for NQ to hit high of day. And of course, after I left, we rejected supply beautifully. We started putting in bullish consolidation, and now NQ is finally flipping stronger. Look at the pullback we're getting on ES, and look at the pullback we're getting on NQ. They look pretty different, right? ES is way lower than this previous bounce than NQ is. And by here, it's a damn good entry. Would I be confident in it? No, but I'm triggered in, so who cares if I'm confident or not? My strategy tells me to get in, I get in. Because I know over a large series of events, I always, always, always make money as long as I execute that strategy flawlessly and have no psychological error. And frankly, it's been pretty hard to not have psychological error lately with just the time I've been trading futures. But it did end up getting the new high of day, as you can see. Perfectly swept it, and price action pretty much became nice when I left. Um, nice trends. It's still choppy. It still didn't really go anywhere. But it was at least a little bit readable, right? You had a nice little bull pennant here that broke to the upside, got all the way to new high of day. You're at least getting pivots that hit. So missed out on it. It is what it is. Again, really the biggest mistake I had today was just trading, even though I really didn't want to. Is that something I really regret though? Like, not really. I'm not really saying to myself, dang, I shouldn't have traded today. I'm really not because I needed the trading day anyways, um, for these futures accounts. It's just that it's just annoying that I keep having to put up with it. But anyway, so that was my trade review. Red day today. It is what it is. My psychology wasn't great. I was not feeling in the zone at all. But we did complete this week, and this week is a freaking green week. But this week's a green week only by 10K on the futures accounts. And yeah, last week was a green week by 10K. But that I'm green because I had one big green day for guess what? 10K. And the reason it was that green is because I cheated because I was so sick of the first hour price action being so good. And yeah, I'm very blessed that that's happened. I mean, it's better than both hours being terrible, right? At least I was making money on options. But I do really want to grow these futures accounts as well. I folded like a launcher under the pressure, and I took a trade. Uh, I alerted and took QQQ puts, and I also took NQ shorts, and that made half of those gains on that day. So it still was a green day. It still would have been a green week by about 5 grand. Um, but every other day, small green, give it back the next day. Small green, give it back the next day. This is exactly what happened this week, and it happened last week as well. I think last week I didn't really have a big green day. I had 2 green days that were larger than some of the red days, but I'm just kind of sick of this back and forth. But it is what it is. It's good practice. It's a good growth phase if you're trading that specific time. But about the changes that's going to be happening. So I decided, you know what? I kind of talked to our staff a bit today, and I think I'm gonna start trading, streaming my live futures trading on YouTube because I think it'll be good to see some new faces, hear some new thoughts, opinions, all those things, and frankly, it's yeah that I just want to mix it up. I'm just sick of the same thing, and keep in mind I wouldn't stop live trading my futures in Aurora live in Discord with you guys in my server. That wouldn't change at all. Would not change at all. But just on top of that, I'm going to be streaming YouTube. But the thing is, I'm not going to stream on YouTube if I'm just going to do the second hour of trading. So I may have to change up my rules a little bit, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to make some change for the first time in like 10 months and hang out with you guys for 2 hours instead. So we'll be doing the second and the third hour of market. Now, keep in mind next week, I don't believe the second hour is likely to continue being bad. I would expect that phase to be over, but if it is, we're going to have some room to do in the third hour. But one thing that I'm just going to have to practice and get used to is being a little bit more patient with my trades because I got to hang out for 2 hours. So even though the setups may be good and good enough for me to take to where I'd usually take it if I were just trading for 1 hour, I may have to be a little bit more selective and space out my trades just so I don't go through all my trades. And God forbid if I go through all my trades in the first hour and it's a really red day and I'm hanging out in the third hour and I'm tempted to continue trading even though I really shouldn't because I hit my trade limit. That's just a psychological issue I don't want to run into. So the biggest change for me I'm going to have to make is I'm just going to have to practice a little bit more restraint with my futures trading, which is fine. It shouldn't be that difficult. Adapting is always a part of trading, but I think the net benefits are going to be a lot better. The pros are going to be a lot better than the cons for you guys, for the new people that are going to be watching me either get rich or steamrolled, and the psychological growth and technical growth that you guys are going to experience from that extra time, I think will greatly offset the changes that I'm going to have to make. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that in chat? I'm just now looking at chat for the first time. I thought you don't trade the third hour. I don't. That is going to change, Captain TJ. Just because I don't doesn't mean I can't. I don't because I haven't had a need, frankly. Folded like a launcher under pressure. Yep, fizz. I hate when it happens. I hate when it happens. And it's been happening a little too much lately. So we do have a 3-day weekend, I guess. What day is it on Monday? Type in chat. What day is it on Monday? I didn't even look. But word on the street has it we have a 3-day weekend. I'm not gonna trade a bank holiday. I'm just not gonna do it. I was annoyed enough at today's price action. I'm not trading a bank holiday. Um, that's gonna be even more choppy. So we will be doing that, starting that up on Tuesday, and we'll see how it goes. We'll test the water. And the way I trade, you guys see a lot of gurus on social media that flex how rich they are, flex their supercars, and twerk on camera whenever they win a green trade and cry and throw shit when they lose a trade, with the goal of, being quote unquote entertaining and having a bunch of kids overseas clip their streams and throw them all over TikTok to attract a bunch of degens that, are looking for someone to follow like a blind sheep, right? Someone that's going to lead them to riches. My style of trading and just the way I trade is pretty boring compared to those people. So I don't think we're going to get a lot of those people. I know a lot of you guys were concerned with the kind of people that starting to reach out and do social media for the first time in forever is going to attract. But frankly, I think the kind of people the way I talk about psychology, technical analysis, trading, just the way I do things is more so attractive for the people that are sick of the bullshit, that have been trading for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years plus, and they know it's not just another strategy that they need to find to be profitable. They know it's not just some, like I said, it's not a magical strategy that they need to be profitable. It's not a new analyst that they need to follow, a new course to buy. It's not any of that. The problem is them, and they want to figure out how to fix them. And I feel like it's going to attract people who have traded long enough to experience and see the true, incredible exponential potential this business has, um, but are also down enough, not necessarily down enough, but it's a big enough a part of their life. They don't just see the potential, but it's already a big enough a part of their life to where they have major aspirations in this business. They're not just searching online for, you know, side hustles that are going to make you money so you can quit your job and do what you actually want to do. You can try trading, drop shipping, Forex, Amazon FBA, Airbnbs, all the things in the world. I don't think it's going to attract those people. I only care if I can wave a magic wand and just teleport a specific group of people, which is a small group of people to me. It would be people who have been doing this for years and they love it. They know the potential of it. They don't want to give up on it, uh, but they know the bullshit isn't working. And those are the people I like to work with because those are the people that are going to become very valuable assets, not just my community, but everyone around them. More Tommies? Yeah, we don't need more Tommies. We do not need more Tommies. The market is open on Monday, but it's a bank holiday, so I don't think there's going to be any volume. I need to check. I need to check. I can't do it right now because I'm streaming, but watching a trade reviews has been trying with the ADS. I don't with the ads. I may break down and go premium with YouTube. Will there be any ads with live YouTube streaming? I don't think there is, Krusty. My account's not monetized. I don't plan on doing that. So that's just YouTube screwing you. But I don't think live streams have ads on YouTube. Maybe they do. That would suck if you guys get an ad right before I enter a trade and you miss it. Live stream on YouTube is only lagged if you allow it to be, I believe. You can choose whether to have it live or lagged a little bit for streaming video games and stuff, so you don't get stream sniped. But keep in mind, I'm going to be live on Discord as well, guys. So one of the biggest benefits with me being live on YouTube is you're going to be able to go back and watch the recording and see how I did. Right, see the trades play out, see me rant about psychology or rant about something or complain about the trade I'm in or something along those lines. And yeah, you can really go back to any point and see what we were seeing, see what we were thinking. And I think that's just going to be another beneficial tool for a select few people who want it to use. But no, I'll still be live streaming in Discord, guys. Nothing's gonna change for you guys. You can watch it on YouTube as well, or watch it back. But yeah, you guys don't have to watch through YouTube. I'm still gonna be on Discord. It takes no extra work to stream on YouTube and still be in Discord. So you guys don't really need to worry about that. But all right, I will let you guys go. This was kind of a longer trade review, but I was kind of complaining a lot, so it is what it is. I'm looking forward to this weekend, and very looking forward to next week. It's going to be something new, something fresh, and we'll just see how we do. If we don't like it, we'll go back or change. We'll go back to what we were doing, or we'll change it up. We will see. But all right, I will see you guys later. You guys have a blessed rest of your night. Have a great weekend. If you guys need me, ping me in chat or DM me on Discord. And yeah, we'll be back next week. It'll be a fun week. Lots of things coming. And also, I'm going to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to post that 4th psychology lesson tomorrow in the Psych Course channel for you premium folks. All right, I'll see you guys later.